they come around and hang around the shop just to speak with him. You know, how many young people want to hang out with old people?
He's a pillar in our community, that's what I like to say, Doc. Especially his barbershop, his shop is well known.
My friends give me a hard time, a lot of them, because they're like, man, you're bald. You know, why are you going to a barber, man? I said, even if my beard went bald, I would still come here for knowledge and inspiration.
To know Doc the barber is different from Doc the author, you know what I mean, the writer. He's a completely different person, especially if you read his books. You read his books, you wouldn't believe that it was a guy who actually cut your hair on Saturdays, you know what I mean?
I feel like this, when I first met him, I never knew the history behind him as far as being illiterate. And to hear somebody say that and say what they went through during life, not learning how to, you know, not knowing how to read for so many years, it was shocking to me. You look at him like, nah, it can't be true.
Education wasn't stressed in my family. You know, my father was a carpet layer. And I happened to be working with him one day and I saw him read something. It was beautiful to me. But I just couldn't understand why they could read and my brother could read and my two sisters could read, but I had the problem. Once I got on college campus, I was going to the student center. I was going through it and I was walking, and I'll never forget, I heard a young lady read. And I had never heard anybody read like that. It just sounded like music to me. I broke down and I told her one day, I said, you know, I can't read. I can't even spell my mother's name. And she said, boy, get out of here. I said, I'm serious. And I sit down with her and she had some stuff that I could read and or try to read, and she saw, and she began to teach me. When it happened, I just caught on fire. I was tutored, you know, through watching others. You know, they didn't know that they were my teachers. They didn't know that they were the light that brought me out of this dark world.
If you are running around complaining about your struggles, there's always one person that's been through 10 times more than you. Doc's that guy.
One of the favorite things I learned from Doc was when he was talking about people saying things that they want things. And if you really want something, you're gonna go do them. That line of thinking of having to work for what you've got and to be strong through the hardships and not let anything stop you from getting what you want is what I've learned from him.
I read the end of Youngblood Johnson, but it was a moment in this book I saw. It was a part where this kid ran to the bathroom. He lived with his cousins, and he heard them getting a whooping in the other room, and he cried. I spoke of getting sometimes 1 or 2 whoopings a week for 14 years, you see? And here's a child crying because he didn't get struck. And so all that kind of did something to me. That book, through reading it, made me get up and say, you know what? I am never gonna read another book until I write my own.
He's coming in the salon at least every so many days with new poems. So it's like, are you up all night long writing?
I wrote until my neck would get sore. I mean, it would get just really tight. You know what I mean? It was just my back and everything. I wanted it though.
That's what the barbershop is, man, the cornerstone of our community. You know, that's where we come kick back and get our daily digest.
If you were to read Strong Child, it's a difficult read because it's such a painful story, but it's such a beautiful story that you can't really put it down.
On a flight on my way to China, and Doc had given me one of his books to read because I was going to be on such a long flight, and man, I opened the book and it was a page turner.
I know certain things that he says moves me, and it's because how serious he is and the passion that he has within him, you know.
You can hear me laughing, you can hear passion in my book. And I think that when you are a man and you're not supposed to be looked at to do, to show those type of emotions, you know, I think that's what's so unique and makes them want to read.
There were some struggles that I was going through I never spoke with Doc about, but I draw inspiration from him, and it's made me a better man.
Doc becomes somebody else, man, when he put that ink to paper, for real. For you to be able to sit back and see someone who's been through those type of challenges and been successful to come through them, and to see Doc where he is right now is very inspiring.
I've watched young men grow up in this neighborhood. I've watched them endure the struggles of their generation. Some of those same young men are now extremely productive in the community.
He recently attended my graduation, but I've never seen him take off of work. You know, I mean, sickness, whatever, he doesn't take off of work. And my graduation was on a Saturday during his prime haircutting hours. So, I mean, he's not just sacrificing his time, he's sacrificing money to come see my graduation, and that meant a lot to me.
Lucky is far from the word I would use that empowered me to get here. You know, I said I would read, I read. I said I would write, and I wrote. I'm blessed, you know, but I'm not lucky.